Welcome to the Inside Esfera Wealth podcast, where Swiss precision meets global perspective. Esfera Wealth is a Swiss-regulated wealth management boutique, established in 2010, with a focus on serving high-net-worth individuals and families. At Esfera Wealth, we are passionate about constantly learning from leading experts in the wealth management industry, as well as from entrepreneurs, CEOs, and business owners. Join us as we share insights, stories, and strategies from around the world. In our very first episode, we'll take you behind the scenes of Esfera Wealth's succession story. From Beat Studer's retirement to Andres Lakatos stepping into leadership, and how Marcus Angst skillfully mediated the entire process. And now, here is your host, Andres Lakatos.
So, welcome to our first podcast of Esfera Wealth. I am here with Beat Studer, co-founder of Aquila Group Finance, which is now Esfera Wealth, and Marcus Angst, who is the president of our board of directors. So, welcome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. All right. So, we will start a Q&A session. The center topic of today will be the succession plan of our company. It was a very intense work. It was a very intense journey, let's say. And I think this could be also interesting for other wealth managers to know a little bit how the process was that we went through. And of course, we always also want to give some tips of what we learned. And so we will begin right now with some questions. The format will be the following. We have some questions here in the middle of our table. And so everybody's going to get a question, read it, and then the person that is getting the question is going to answer. So I will begin with the questions. Let's see. So the first question is for Marcus.
Wow.
Marcus, what added value does a partner firm gain by having you as board representative from the Aquila Group compared to wealth managers not affiliated with the Aquila Group?
I think it's not only the question of the person, because I'm not the only one in Aquila. I think it's very important there are a lot of people, and the most important issue is that we think we know very well our partners. Or that means if they need anything, then we know what they need, and we know with our network, etc., what we can help them.
Marcus, if you want to take the next question.
That's fine. I guess I go to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had one piece of advice for other wealth managers facing a succession process, what would you be, or what would it be?
Well, first of all, my advice would be take your time and start thinking about it as soon as possible, because this is a process that can take a lot of time. In our case, Beat, it was 3 years more or less.
4.
Yeah,
more or 3 or 4.
Yeah, more than 3 years. So it's really. One could think, well, it's a smooth process and it's clear. I just join and I retire and then it's done. But it's much more complicated because there are a lot of also feelings involved. There are expectations involved, and you have to match everything together. And in order that all comes together, it just takes some time. No, in our case, it took more than 3 years. Maybe in other cases, it could take less than 3 years, of course. I think, Marcus, there you have much more experience than we do, but this was our case. So my tip would be to start thinking about it as soon as possible. If you are in the situation of starting to think about exiting, really start to think about it pretty soon, and talk to different people, and just have the right expectation. It's not going to be quick.
I would like to add it on if it's possible, because the question was to you.
It's to all, so everybody.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's not only the question of time. it's also the question of at what time I'm going to start. And my opinion is it's not only succession sounds, you're old and you have to think about step down. And I believe also 35 years old entrepreneur should think about what he has to do, what kind of action and topic he has to do, that he can convince and make sure that the company is running on. Because tomorrow something can happen. It's not only the question of age. It could be an accident or something like this. And that's, for me, a lot of people doesn't think about that. And we in Aquila, we make sure from the beginning on, with a shareholder agreement, with some other agreements, what could be, we don't hope so, in the worst case, and what we have to do after that, though.
Yeah, so succession should actually be part of every wealth manager's plan.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be a plan B or just wait for the age to come to think about it.
The age is the wrong one.
Age is the wrong one, yes. So it should be in place actually. So every wealth manager should already have a plan about retaring, because it's not only retiring, it could be that something happens, right? To the main shareholder or to the main manager.
So, and in our company, or maybe you can remember, or in a board meeting, that one of the topic is also business continuity. That's a modern word about that, but business continuity means also that you have to think about what happens if you're losing the key for the office. It sounds very easy, but you have to do that. And for me, regarding client, you have to think about what's happening if you cannot serve the client anymore from tomorrow on.
Bert, what's your advice?
To delay this crucial step for too long and to estimate the opposing viewpoints. It's very, very important.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, they think, hey, it's not time now to think about that. If you have done it, then it's fine, because then you have it in written on a paper, and if something happens, then you can take that. But you have to think about that. And the last opinion, you don't have to spend a lot of time off of that, or it's not huge, or that's the same when you thought about. There are different kind of topic what you thought about to step in a new company. But for me, is just thinking about 2 hours, what could happen, and what are my willing, what are my tasks, what I have to do. But that's just 2 hours. But then let's say, you have done the first step for that.
Yeah, so everybody should begin immediately to think about,
Absolutely.
It's not a big effort. It just takes a few hours to think about it. I mean, even ourselves, right? I mean, we have now we have done the first step, right, of the succession plan. But now we should think about the new succession plan, right? I mean, what happens if I'm not around, or if Martin is not around, or so we should also think about this in the coming months. So
Absolutely.
Bert, you want to take?
I guess we have already answered all of this.
Yeah, I think also. Doesn't matter.
We can repeat.
Hello. How was the strategic repositioning, the leadership transition, and rebranding received by clients and partners?
That's too good.
Well, clients and partners, I would say it was a pretty smooth process. So it was, in my experience, it was not a big deal, whether for clients, nor for banks, nor for providers, our service providers, because it's actually only a name change. But the company continues to be, we still continue to have the same tax number. Everything is the same, so it's only a name change. So for our providers and banks, it's not a big deal. We just need to inform, when the name has been done. We just need to inform them and send the new commercial register. And the clients actually also, are not didn't react like euphoric or like the world was changing. It was really pretty smooth. What is just going to be important for us from now on is just to inform maybe what is our new approach right? What has changed, because it's not only a name change. And I think that will be our task in the coming weeks.
I guess in your situation, the new strategy goes together with the new name, or you want to have a new name with the new strategy, or that's right. Or
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the idea was to bring in a little bit of freshness in general.
Yeah.
And how can you do that? Well, of course, with the name change, then everybody is going to know that something has changed.
Yeah.
And then and so yes, it goes along with the name. Yeah,
Exactly.
What was your experience, Beat, with the clients or partners or service providers?
I think the changes in leadership and the strategic rebranding are not as significant to the clients. What truly matters is that the personal contact is maintained and in the same way it was before.
Absolutely.
It's people business, huh?
It's people business, and especially in our business, I think it's important for the clients to have continuity, right?
Yeah.
Which is what differentiates us from maybe the banks or exactly.
Yeah.
So that's core for us, that there's continuity. Absolutely.
We are like the medical service for
like the
client.
doctor.
Yeah.
Like the doctor.
Always the same doctor.
Yeah.
That knows you.
No, nobody would like to change the doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of a doctor, maybe.
No, yeah. No, your family office approached. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. You have to know the family.
We know, I mean, Beat, you have known your clients, I mean, since years, 30 years or more.
40, more than 40.
You know their families, you know their wives, you know their kids, if they have kids, you know, you have been to their companies, you have been maybe to their house, you know, maybe their friends or their partners. So, I mean, we are kind of a part of the family almost, no?
Yeah.
So we know confidential information about them, so they trust us. So yeah, it's
Yeah, and I guess that's my opinion. You're at the front, or I'm not a front guy, but I think about that relationship main or is based on not only good situation. Also critical situation. That means also if you have a problem inside of the family and you can give a little bit the help or as an independent asset manager to this situation, then I think it helps also for the relation. It's not only performance driven.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, I'm going to take the next question. Otherwise, we will really answer all of them. Beat, what motivated you in 1992 to leave the bank and join an independent wealth management firm? That's right. 1992, you left Credit Suisse, right?
No, before.
Which year was it?
Credit Suisse was about
89?
89.
Okay.
And then I went to another.
You went to another institution?
Yes.
Which is not really a bank, right? It was just a financial institution.
It was quite the same as Aquila, no?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's correct the question. So what motivated you, Beat, to leave the bank, a big bank, in 1989?
It was because thanks of our personal relationship with Max Kotting, we had the opportunity to establish our own company with Aquila as a partner, which allowed us to part ways friendly with our former partner while still enjoying our ongoing friendship.
Okay, so you knew, so Max Kotting is the founder of the Aquila Group, right? And you knew him back then when you were still in the bank?
No, with the other...
with the other institution?
Yes.
Okay. So, and, but what was like the main key driver for you to leave a bank and move to an independent asset manager?
To be entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur,
of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in this time, I don't think that as a relationship manager in a bank, you have to do a lot of sellings of products to the client. But
I know.
You wanted to be alone. You wanted to be very close to the client. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, because I mean we're talking 1989, so
Yeah.
you were one of the first ones
I think
taking
it's
these steps.
10 years before, because most of the independent in Switzerland started in end of the 19th, so at the beginning of the 2000, after the merge of UBEF and Bankverein. No, you was, let's say, a visionaire in this time, or?
You were absolutely one of the first ones to take this step.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really, and it took a lot of courage, of course, right? But I think you had a good relationship with your clients, so you were
always.
So you were pretty sure, or you hoped that they would come along, right?
And it was not so easy take this decision with a young family.
Yeah.
To beginning more or less at zero.
Yeah.
But I was before at Chlorine Lowy, head of the independent asset management desk, and when we started in 2000, I was head of this department in 2000, beginning on. We had for a limited power of attorney, just as an example, I think half a page or 1 page. Mm-hmm. Nowadays you have 10 or 20 pages for that. And I guess in this time when you made this step, there was not a lot of formalities, etc. It was more or less very easy that the client just give you a limited power or a full power, and that's all, and no one ask about what is going to do with that.
Well, maybe I'm for sure. I think we all agree. Formalities got much more complex, right? So much more documentation. Everything got regulation got much more stricter. So we need to comply a lot of much more things that we used to comply 34 years ago. But I think what I would wonder, Beat, is when you left. I mean, 1989, this model of having an external financial advisor like you was not very common, right? Absolutely was not common.
It was not common, no.
So how did the clients react? I mean, was it like first a barrier, or like were they scared a little bit that this you're now external, you're not the bank anymore, or what was like the reaction? Do you remember? That was quite a few years ago, but
yeah. The reaction was not easy.
Yeah.
You have to convince the client that you're going to another company to maintain the client's contact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But okay, we got it.
Yeah, it was done successfully. So that's one challenge that I see nowadays. Still, there are some families or a few families that don't know this model, the external asset manager, the external wealth manager, because they are used to having their bankers. And when we come, let's say that we are like a new generation of approaching wealth, right? We are independent. Now we are also regulated. So we're getting more and more salonfähig. So we're getting more and more recognized and accepted. But if we face some issues nowadays to explain to new clients how we work, I cannot imagine how it was back then in 1989. I mean, I think you had to do a big effort and a big explanation and communication effort, right? For
of course.
For the clients to understand.
I believe the same, because nowadays it's very, very easy to explain it to the client, or because it's a real partnership, or you have a relation with the bank, or just as a custodian bank with the independent asset manager and the client, but I think independent nowadays is the main word about that.
Absolutely.
Because banks, I'm honest, banks are not independent anymore. Because a relationship manager in a bank, and if you have a mandate with a bank, and the bank is very well and very good brand, etc., they wanted to get some profit out of that. And an independent should have another view, a long-term view. Or relationship manager in a bank is 3 to 6 months, or maybe 2-3 years. But after that, or you have a new one. And that's visionary.
But that's also the problem for the client, because the client doesn't like
change.
They are always changing with the advisor. So sure.
Yeah,
and that's very good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we are the opposite, right? I mean, you're the best example. 40 years with the same clients, and now there is a change. Why? Well, because you're retiring. That's the only reason. And so I think this is a big plus that we as independent asset managers offer, and I think clients appreciate it a lot. I think that's also why our sector has been growing a lot, right? So
for me, it's also very important because it's we speak just with the relation between the independent and the client, but I think also the client with the independent should have a good relation because he's running a business, he's running a reputation, and if the client would have a reputational risk, for example, then it can put it in the whole company of the independent asset manager. That means for me, it's a both time relation. That means both has to take care about this.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, when talking to families from Latin America, especially the big important ones, I see that they all work already with a family office or with an independent wealth manager. The big ones already working with people like us. But the let's say the medium-sized families to the small ones in terms of assets, first of all, not all know our model, and they are not all still working already with an external asset manager. So I think there is now where our main challenge is to bring communication, to bring education, what we do, and also to explain them what are our advantages, right?
But what do you think about the minimum size should have a client? Because what you said is, I can remember 20 years ago in a bank, family office approach, you can get it also as an entrepreneur from 20 million on, or for example, of 50 million, but these figures are coming down because we had some system behind of that. But what do you think about the size, minimum size, to run a client in your view very successful?
Well, first of all, we depend on the banks. So banks have established minimums, right, that they accept, right? So that's the first trigger. So if a bank has a minimum of $500,000 or equivalent, or 1 million, we just need to stick to it, right? We try to negotiate with the banks that, to bring down the commissions for the clients, which we have done quite successfully in favor of the client. And then second, we try to manage affordable minimums. Now, the thing is that we have less clients than a banker does, right? So we have more time. That means that we can also serve smaller clients much, much better than banks do, right? So if we think maybe a typical private banker has around 100 clients, maybe 250 clients, right? We have less per person, per partner. So we have more time. So actually, we can accommodate smaller clients. Now, it has to make sense for both, for the client and for us. And I think it's you have to look at it at an individual, so case by case. I know some wealth managers, they also have a minimum, so they don't want to deal with a smaller amounts. I think it's decision of everybody to approach the minimum how it makes sense for them. Yeah.
Very good.
Who's next?
I'm not sure.
I think it's your turn.
The next question goes about what are the most common mistakes that the wealth manager approaching retirement should avoid? We have already discussed that.
Yeah, we discussed.
Way too long.
Yeah. That's. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Just do it. All right. You can also go ahead.
Take two questions.
Marcus, what is your role in the transition process at Esfera Wealth?
Mediator. Take care about both. No, I think the role, it's very simple.
You're a babysitter, basically.
Yeah. I try to explain that in a better word, mediator. But what I had is, you mentioned that at the beginning, we spent something around 3 years about the whole process, and there was a lot of emotion on both sides. And I can remember, Bert, when you called me and you said to me, are you closer now to Andres or closer to me? And that was a right question, because I have to be careful, because that's the mediator. Or by the end, for me, it was quite good that we could find an end there, but for me it was clear that there are some different kind of issues, also personal issues, or you bought a house during this time, etc., and everything changed. No mediator, and try to keep running the story.
So I think your role was crucial. And I think nowadays, I don't know, Beat, how you think about it, but without Marcus, it would have been almost impossible. Well, who knows, but it would have been much more difficult, right? Because, and I think this is also very important first of all, it's a key differentiator of Aquila and partner companies that work with Aquila. We all have a Marcus. Maybe it's Marcus, maybe it's somebody else who's in the board of directors. But Marcus, and in general, somebody from Aquila is more neutral, right? Has maybe less feelings, right? And this is very important, especially if now we're looking for a new partner, because usually a new partner like me, I was like, okay, I'm coming into a company of two partners that have been together now 30 years or more. I'm going to be the outsider. I'm going to be the underdog. But then Marcus made me feel like, no, I mean, you're important as well, right? And what you think and what you want is important as well. So it made me feel much more comfortable. And I think other companies that don't have this role of Aquila, of somebody more neutral being in the board of directors, I think I have the feeling for them it's much more difficult to find a new partner, right? Because that's a little bit an entry barrier for new people trying to join a new company. I don't know. Well, the question was actually for Marcus, right?
No. I think the role of Marcus was really, really important. You need somebody on both sides.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you never go to agree about this.
Yeah. Much more.
The question, because that's the same question, because I had this morning with a new potential. Also the same discussion, and what is quite important, I think, is networking. I guess we as Aquila, we have a huge network. Or huge means that I call them traffic, or that we have a lot of traffic. And if you have people, what I said at the beginning, they understand a little bit the mythology and the culture of our partners, then they know if they have a new potential one that maybe it could match with this company, and then you have to work on that. What is a little bit, you don't hear that very, very well, because what is a little bit the question is how many time you spend for that. And if you, for example, just calculate my hours together, you said, Marcus, you're the president of the board, that's your job. I'm not sure if it was my job there. But if you calculate that together and you are going to hire, let's say, an M&A expert for 500 Swiss francs an hour, then it costs you a fortune. And that is also for me very important to understand if you're running a business, or because if you have a small business, it's not affordable that you have an M&A expert about that. You have a good business there, or it's better than, or that is also what you have to keep in mind, because as soon as you're strong and you have, let's say, the profitability and the net
financial muscle.
Exactly. Or if you don't have that, then you don't have a lot of choices there. And another situation what I had yesterday, for example, a new partner company I negotiated with custodian banks. That also my culture, or because we had a blind contest with different kind of custodian banks, and they sent in the offerings because it was very discreet, because we don't want to push these people because they are still in the working process in a bank. And for me it was quite nice, because I had after that one best bank, and I tried to bring all the banks, the custodian, to the same price level. And in my experience, it was not my goal to reach all the same prices. And it was a Cantonal bank, a very small one. I called them and said, look, the prices are there. And she came back with a better price, more or less. So, and I said to her, you don't have to do that. Because I think the fair price would be what I said before. No, that's very nice from your side. And that's for me also relationship management, networking, because we don't have to squeeze the citron.
I mean, at the end, we're partners, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we need the banks.
Yeah.
Without banks, we don't do anything.
In your situation, I don't want, let's say, on your side also. For me, by the end, I could manage a little bit that you find a solution, or but by the end, you have to be convinced, and Beat has to be convinced. Or so otherwise, we have to say, let's say it was nice, goodbye. We have to stop it.
So we are partners with the banks, but I mean, this is just to be clear, we are on the side of the client, because at the end, who pays us is the client.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
and I mean, for the banks, I mean, we need the banks, and we have a good relationship with the banks and with the bankers. They are really very nice and treat us really very good. But at the end, for us, the customer is the most important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna take the next question. Okay, this question is for me, so I take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to ask myself. This one is also for me, so I will just ask myself. Andres, where are you placing your strategic focus? Are you continuing much as before, or bring a fresh perspective? So I think we had this topic before. So as Beat said, I think it's very, very crucial to continue what the company has been doing so far, which has been doing with great success, which is have a long-term relationship with our clients. That's the most important. So that's not going to change. And maybe new perspectives is going to be the new approach to wealth that we have. We even want to customize more to our clients, because so far maybe we had only one model, right? One mandate to how to manage the assets of our clients. And now we are expanding these mandates in order to be able to accommodate other types of clients that have other approaches, right? There are some clients that are much more sophisticated and know exactly what they want, and they just need somebody to execute. Then there are clients that have no time, no interest, and no clue about investment. So that's absolutely another model. So what we have done is that we have increased or added new mandates to accommodate various types of clients, in order to really customize the service that we are bringing to the clients. So I think it's a mix of both, continuing with what we have done successfully so far and adding new mandates for different types of clients.
I took the question before but I think we have already answered this question before that. Now, what was the most challenging part of the succession process for each of you, emotionally, organizationally, and culturally? I think we have already discussed that. You'd like to add it on?
Yeah, I would like to add. So for me, the most challenging part was, since it was absolutely something new, it was the price. So how to establish the price of a share? I mean, even though I have studied it and there are a lot of formulas out there, it always depends on each different case, right? And these can vary. So that was for us always like a little bit a point, right? I think that we were like 6 months thinking and negotiating until we found the common base. So for me, that was a very that was a little bit of a struggle. Otherwise, for me, it was clear that I wanted to join a company as a shareholder. Why? Because being in a large wealth management company, not as a shareholder, but as an employee, didn't give me the opportunity to implement new ideas that would have been, or that are, or that bring a new value to the clients. Like, for example, this podcast. This is something that we were able to do. Of course, when we implement a new idea, we'll have to be on the same side and all need to agree. But at least it gives me now more freedom to implement ideas, which before it was impossible. It was impossible at a bank. It was impossible at a big wealth management company.
Regarding price, for me, that's a big issue and a big discussion. And I think an independent asset manager has to clearly separate client and the organization or the running the company. Why? Because client is mostly binded to the independent asset manager, and that's the most important profit and wealth for an independent asset manager. That means you see that also in the market that a lot of people ask me, what could be the price for clients, buying clients? Or my question is, are you going to sell your friends? Or it sounds strange, or? And I think selling your friends, the friend will recognize that after minutes that he was sold, point. And I'm not sure if you are happy about that. Or? That means for me, handover, for example, could imply an earn-out that an independent hand over the clients to a new one and help during this time, let's say, to serve the client. He should get a part of the profit what you get out of this client. That's earn-out model. But share price is different because share price includes what investment the former entrepreneur has to be done in the company. That's the share capital. That's the reserve, or for example, that's the profit. And that's a goodwill. And recently, some guys told me, Marcus, in Switzerland, the goodwill will be 300,000 Swiss francs for a company with FINMA license. And I asked him, why? Because I heard that. I said, forget about that. Because goodwill is, it sounds strange, is what kind of investment you have done during this time. And we can discuss about the company, or I think the brand, if you have a good brand like Aquila Group before, it's not comparable with Novartis or Roche or something like this, or that's nonsense. Or that means brand, forget about that. Brand price, nothing. Or but for getting the FINMA license, etc., that's a goodwill. And I think that was also a little bit discussion between, because I think you find by the end a fair price, but the former one thought that he get a little bit more, and you thought you have to pay a little bit less, and I was between us. You have to find the middle one, because that's for me. But coming back, there are a lot of rumors about that an independent, you can buy an independent asset management for 2 and 3% of asset under management. Maybe it's correct, but then the handover process is most important, and I would never buy a company with an upfront fee, because for me it's important how long the existing client are binding to me, respective or hand over to me. That's very important.
Yeah, because it's the client. He should accept it.
Yeah, but
he could leave. So
yeah,
I do not agree. I will go to another.
No, that's right. But Beat, for example, if you're in a bank and the bank is sold to another bank, then mostly the client has a relation with the relationship manager, but he's a client of this bank. Point. That means the bank is not losing a lot of clients. But in Switzerland, an independent asset manager mainly is based on the relation of the relationship manager who became independent. Point. Yeah. In the US, that's different. In the US, there are a lot of companies where like a small bank. That means the relationship manager brought in the client, but by the end, the client is client of this SEC-regulated company. And that's for me very important to understand. And we have a lot of people in the market, they think, now I'm going to buy everything and put it together. But by the end, I'm not sure if the client is willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, the value is in the relationship manager and not in the brand, like you say, right? So the goodwill also of a company is very much based on the client base. And because with the bank is different at the end, a lot of clients are with the bank because of the brand, of the name, and that's a big difference to us.
What is going to change, I think, regarding regulation, etc., it will be standardized more, or also the service, what kind of service you can give to the client, and maybe in 5 years we have more companies in Switzerland. You can compare that with the US companies. But nowadays, I guess we have something around 10 or 15 companies. where the clients are just clients of this company and not of the relationship manager who is working the company.
You mean within the Aquila Group? Or?
No, outside of Aquila, because they don't need, they are big enough that Albert Kitzler or someone else. Or that
Okay. Good. Who's next one?
Okay, I take one.
You take one?
It's a big one here.
Oh, that's a long question.
Marcus.
Wow.
How many of the approximately 90 partner firms are still led by their founders? How many have already transitioned to a second generation? And among the firms still founder-led, how many are actively searching for a successor? Are successors typically internal or external candidates?
That's 10 questions.
Well, that's 10 questions in one.
No, starting because I think what I said already before, the time when you're going to start, for me, the question is a little bit, is the word succession the right one? Or the continuity of the company. But if you're going to start that, then you have to think about. If you're a single man company, then you don't have a lot of internal people because you have a single man company. That means best will be that you run a company with 2-3 relationship managers. They are colleagues together. They know each other. The clients, they are deputies of each other. And then you don't have a problem with succession because if something happens, then you have on the right and on the left side the solution. What we have something around 90 partner companies. That's correct. I think most of them are still run by the former founder. Because
that means most of them 80%, 90%?
Yeah, I would say 90, something around this. Okay. Because what you have to keep in mind is before it was usual that you are going to start to be independent, not like Beat did it in 89. That means maybe in the age of 50, 52, because you wanted, let's say,
to build up part relationship.
Exactly. But that changed a little bit. Or now we have new partner companies. They are 35 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Very young people. Or for me, quite interesting. That means of this 90, I think 90% are still in the forum. But one of our topic also in the board meeting is succession. Because we discussed that with our partner. What do you want in the future? Because it's also people, or it's a human-based. What is your wish, or what do you want? And sometimes maybe Marcus is more directly to someone. Do you have really fan about the new regulation, etc.? And if that is going to change, then we try to help this partner company. At the moment, we have, let's say, 4 or 5 companies that have already handed over that. We have 2 companies.
Including us?
Including you.
So not too many, eh? 5 from 90.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that's okay because it's also, let's say, fair if someone will tell me, "Look, Marcus, I'm going to die with the company. I'm going to stop." And then it's okay.
Okay.
Because it's the owner of the company is the partner.
Yeah.
But
so from these 5 cases that I already found a successor, were these 5 internal or external candidates?
I would say one is external.
So you're talking about me?
Yes, sure. But that's the same, or I'm in process with, let's say, 5, 6 other companies now, and there are more external. But
okay.
We have 2, 3 companies internal, and internal means also family intern.
Okay.
But that means also if
the
you
son.
have or the
daughter.
For me, it's quite good if you can do that. But it's also the question a little bit, you would like to take over the business of your father. But we have that
Not
also.
Everybody wants
we have that also.
Okay.
That means, I think, we estimate in the next year that every year we have 2, 3 companies where we discuss that. But already said, we tried at the beginning of the company to set up.
Think about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Now I think it's my question. Oh, okay. Again, a question for myself. Andres, what motivated you to leave a large, well-known bank and afterwards a large wealth management firm to join a boutique firm? Well, that's a very good question. So yeah, actually, I mean, I work around 20 years, really almost 25 years with big companies usually, because I wanted to make sure that I have the best infrastructure for our clients, right? And so what led me to move to a boutique company is that I found out that even with a boutique company, I can offer the same service that I used to offer with the large ones. That's what I found out. First point, and maybe I'm going to go into that a little bit later. Second point, and I would say most importantly, is because with a boutique company, as said before, I have much more freedom in terms of I can take or I can implement ideas that I know that our clients will want or will profit from. So, and that was impossible before with a big company. So this way we are really able to customize every single service that we offer to the clients. And I think that is what differentiates us from the larger companies. And still, as a boutique company with our network, we are still able to offer what a big wealth management firm or what a big bank can offer. Because when we work with a big bank, we can use in these terms the infrastructure of the big bank. So if a client is looking for an M&A specialist or for an investment banking or for a trust service, which usually the big banks offer from one hand, we don't offer it from one hand, but we can offer it from different service providers, which are same or even better, right, than offering everything from one hand.
You can choose the best one.
You can choose the best one, yes, because, one bank usually is not going to be the best in everything, right? So, but we know who's the best in which, we usually know who's the best one in which sector. So we can go and cherry pick who are the best providers for the client. So that's why I'm convinced that as a boutique, we can compete with the big ones. And at the same time, if new partners join our company, I mean, they will see it's another world. It's a huge change that you can all of a sudden really implement new ideas. That's a huge change, and I think that is my main reason why I moved to a boutique company. Well, of course, and then I mean, Beat and Martin, they have been around the market for a lot of years, have an excellent reputation, did a great job. So this comes in addition to that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
The next question goes to Beat. What was the most challenging and the most rewarding moment during your time at Aquila Group during the last 30 years?
I think the most challenging moments were all these changings of FINMA.
Okay.
And the regulations in the different banks. Compliance, that is a big question. That takes a lot of time. And the best moments are okay. I had the problem with Martin Schürmann to make our own company. And we took 15 years with this company together. And I think it was a big success.
What do you think about, because I fully agree with you that the regulation increased dramatically, and that's during especially the last 3-4 years, and I guess that's my opinion, is that also the independent, because before it was in the bank more or less, or now it's also independent. Do you think it's starting from the FINMA license on? Because before it was Esfera in Switzerland, or that was a self-regulation organization, and that.
No, it started year before.
Year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. You asked. Now it's your turn.
No, it's for me.
Own question.
Yeah.
You can ask yourself if you want.
Beat, how did you approach the succession process, and why was now the right time from your perspective? How long did it take you to find Andres, and how much time passed before they officially joined the firm? I think the second part we discussed yet. The succession process, okay, that is if you get some age, one times you should go out of the work. And for that reason, I decided to go to sell my participation and to have some more time left for me now for the next years.
How long did it take? I mean, we know that we are dealing like 3 years, but in total, from when was like the time that you said, okay, I need to look for a new person, and until this was done?
I think it was about 4 years, more than
I think
4
we
years.
started, that was the process that 4 years ago we started with this question.
Yeah.
But a little bit in this time, the benefit was that Beat had an assistant also who helps a little bit. Or that means you are confronted with the compliance or with the regulation. You disband this assistant help her.
All right, let me take
That's the last one.
question. Marcus, you serve on the board of over 40 partner firms. Is that correct? 40? Over 40?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
In your experience, what are the most common pitfalls in succession planning and what solutions have proven effective?
For me, we already discussed that in detail. Or for me, the most important pitfall or the pitfall is realize that it's time to do that. And I said, if you are doing that from the beginning or with 35 years old, you're running your own company and you have already succession or continuity in place, then it's fine. But if you're waiting a long of time, then maybe it's too late to do that. Or I think that's most important that you are doing that from the beginning, or just you think about that. And be honest, I did it also personally, because if you get 60, 62 years old, for me it's clear that maybe I work 5 years more, but not 20 years more. Then you have to think about, I guess it's also personally that you should do that with 55, 58, if you have the situation that you can do it, or if you're just a hardworking guy and you didn't take away a lot of money, that you have a lot of spare money behind of that, or then the tools what you can do is very limited. But for me, it was clear that with 58 you have to think about that, or what are the next step and how you have to do that, And the same is like Beat, or if you are doing that, then you have more time. What are you doing in this time? Or sitting at home and watching TV? No, you don't do that.
No.
But you spend more time with the family, or etc. And I think you sleep also very well nowadays.
You should still be active.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you have problems.
But you have to think about what are you going to do.
Of course.
You cannot say, I'm going to build up a hobby.
No. You should have.
Now I'm going to learn to play golf. In the cell, learning golf, you can do that with years old.
You should have your hobby for.
Yeah, and And the same, my wife several times told me, now maybe you're more time at home. That's the other problem.
Okay. Maybe it's too much at home.
It could be. It could be.
Not for going to the Migros.
No, just an example, because when I was young, my father with 55 had the same situation, and the first act in this time was that he took over the garden of my mother. That means she lost half of the house to my father, and he managed that in the way he wanted to manage it. And you can do that the same with the kitchen, etc.
Well, during COVID, I mean, my wife was always saying, hey, you should spend more time at home, because traveling and working. And then when COVID came, I was at home.
All time.
And I told my wife, so are you sure you still want me to be here the entire day? And I think Now she's also, happy that we still we have a little bit a
And
balance.
Andres, that's very good, because if you're in the age like we are, then you have to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you have to think about, okay, you can work until 80,
Yeah.
maybe, or
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
But I have another question, and that goes maybe. So if age is not important in these terms to think about succession, let me ask you something. What's the average size of the external asset manager of a partner of Aquila? So in terms of people, or maybe in terms of partners.
I would say for me important is what you said before, or because we have some people they're starting as a single man or woman company, and I try to explain from the beginning on, not regarding the profitability, because we think you should have at least 600,000-700,000 gross income out of this business, so that's a sustainable business, so that's one of them. But I try also to explain, are you really happy to do everything by your own? It's like hiking to a mountain, and hiking to a mountain means if you, let's say, be two people, then it's much more easy to reach the mountain, instead of one. The cost increased regarding to be independent, nowadays I guess it costs you something around base cost of 100,000. And then the question is, do you bear this 100,000 by yourself, or can you share it with another people?
Yeah.
That means at the moment, I think most of the new partner companies, there are 2 to 3 people large. We have larger one. What we have also, we have a lot of independent in the market. They are now confronted with the new regulation and with the cost, because before they didn't need any portfolio management system. They didn't need any this and this and this. And we have everything in place. Then is the question, do you have time over the weekend to find out the best service provider? Because we do that out of one hand, and therefore we have a lot. But I think 2 to 3 people.
Okay, so a small company with 2 or 3 partners, what can they do to look for a new partner if they have to go outside, right? Let's say that both are the same age.
Yeah.
What are they doing? How are they looking for new partners?
It's a very good question, because I had this 2 hours ago. For me, it's important, do you want really to have another one? And what is the reason that you want to have another one in your company? And for me, the main reason should be that the mentality, the culture must be the same. And not only that, for example, I'm going to join you and I'll bring in 1 million gross income, take out 990,000 for me, and you have 10,000. You build up as an entrepreneur, as an owner of the company, everything that I feel well. In 2 months, I tell you, I want to have 995,000, because 10,000 is too much for you. And you'll tell me, okay, go. Or now you build everything up. That's a little bit the question. That means for me, it must be a match with the company. It must be really a team working, and if you are finding such kind of people in the market, you can build it up, because a football team is also not a team from the beginning, but if you can find that, but I think you shouldn't be too large, because what you mentioned, you was before that in a big independent asset management company. I think also there is the risk that a lot of people, they are successful in such kind of company, they wanted to be more independent.
Yeah, that's what I see. I see that as a big trend. Wealth managers at big wealth management companies, like I was, they have this desire to be able to decide, because their clients have some needs, and maybe in a big corporation you cannot decide. So that means that you cannot give to the client what they want, right? So with a more boutique company, they can do that. But again, to the question, how are they looking for the ones that want a new partner, right? How are they going to headhunters? Are they looking with their own network? Are they calling you? What do they do? What can an independent asset manager do to grow?
I think there are 3 different kind of options. Or headhunter could be, but headhunter, the name headhunter. Or I'm not sure if because of that was also the story. After 5 years, a headhunter wanted to use the case once again, or that means he's coming back to the guy and ask him, "Are you really happy there?" Or because he wanted to
move him again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a normal business case. Or?
Yeah.
But for me, it's one of them. I think network is very important. Or I think what we do now is also very important, because you have to say hello to the people outside in the market. That's a very good company. It's a boutique, and if you want to become independent, then have a call with Andres. So that's one of them. The other one is a little bit, for me, also networking out of maybe Aquila, because at the moment we have a lot of calls of people, and I'm honest, or if I have some people, they cover more or less the same market, or similar the same market, or the same language, what you do, Spanish, or that means for me, I will ask them if I can introduce this guy to you, or but that's for me a little bit. But the end, it must match together.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Very good. Great. Do we have any other questions?
No, there are no more papers.
No more papers.
Now we can put it in once again.
Do you have any other questions that you wanted to place now in this round?
I think it was okay.
Marcus?
No, for me, the same. Or I think what is important, I guess, in Switzerland, we have the situation that 3 years ago, there are new regulations started. Or for me, important is also to think about if you run your company, are you really able, let's say, to manage all the challenges in the future by your own, or because that is also what I see in the market, that some people should think about that a little bit earlier. And for me, it's not a fail that you're going to ask, for example, Marcus, what do you think about? Do you have some other option? Or because that's for me the task of an entrepreneur, that all the time, that's the same with the US tax or nowadays. Or you have to think about where are my main markets, or all the time. Or and therefore, I see a little bit in Switzerland also that in the next couple of years, it's going to change the market. At the moment, we have 1,400 independent. And I believe that this number, it's stable since 3 years. That means we have new one. That means also that the market lost someone or some. But I guess we are also in the situation that a lot of people, they should speak more.
So they should maybe come together. And
Absolutely. And it's not, for me, what I said before, it's not the fail that I ask you, can I join you? Because when I ran a company before, why I shouldn't join you? Because together, maybe you're stronger. And then the question is a little bit, do you have a sexier name?
Yeah, I think these are details that can be negotiated, and people can discuss about it. But for example, when I left the bank, I thought about I could create my own company from the beginning on, or I could join a wealth manager, right? So since I didn't know if this was going to work, I didn't want to create my own company, because I was alone, right? And so for me, it was much more convenient to join a wealth manager. And when thinking about which wealth manager to join, coming from a big bank, I thought, okay, I need to have a big wealth manager that is going to be able to compete more or less with the service that I used to give before to my clients. And so that's why I chose a big wealth manager. And I think a lot of bankers think the same, right? Because they feel a little bit like more protected, right? Also because usually big wealth managers, they pay you a minimum salary. And that, after being 15 years, 20 years, a paid banker employee, you feel still a little bit protected if a big wealth manager is going to guarantee you a lower.
If you're not successful, then they don't pay you longer than 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's about the change. It's about feeling secure, right?
Yeah, sure.
So now, if I could go back, and if I knew that this was going to work, I would have chosen a boutique, and I would have come in with like the condition that if this works well, I become a partner.
Yeah.
I would have done this from the beginning. But the thing is that you never know, right? if it's going to work or not. But what my feeling is that a lot of people like me that move to a big wealth manager now feel the same as they felt in the bank. So, it's, not too many choices, decision choices, bureaucratic from time to time, depending which asset manager. And the thing is that I was impressed when I saw that these big asset managers, they offer, 30, 40 banks. I mean, that's of course, that's impressive, right? But at the end, I mean, I'm working with maybe 6, 7 banks. That's maximum. We don't need more. It's also extremely more difficult to manage 10, 15 banks. I mean, it's a very, very, it's not efficient, right? Even though we have a system that consolidates everything, but still, you still need to log into each bank, and it's complicated. So I think that not too many banks is okay. It's important to have the correct banks for each type of clients. Some clients need very sophisticated banks. Some clients don't need really big special services, so they're happy with a boutique bank. So as long as you have all these type of banks in your portfolio, I think that you're good to go. So
fully agree.
All right. So thank you very much for joining our first podcast at Esfera Wealth. It has been a great pleasure having you. Thank you for coming from Montreux, Beat, and thank you, Marcus, for your
pleasure
sharing your knowledge and your experience.
Marcus from Wallis Island.
No, I came from Zurich. We are here in Zurich. It's
with the motorbike.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Esfera Wealth podcast, where Swiss precision meets global perspective. If you enjoyed today's conversation, subscribe so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how we serve high net worth individuals and families, visit esferawealth.com. At Esfera Wealth, we're committed to building, protecting, and connecting wealth across generations, and to learning every day from the brightest minds in wealth management, business, and beyond. Until next time, keep your vision clear and your legacy strong.